You know, there are places in the world that just don't play by the normal rules. We're not just talking about a temple today. We're diving into a place where the laws of physics seem to bend, and get this, ancient prophecies might actually be unfolding right before our eyes. This is the Jagannath Temple in Puri. It's a center of faith, for sure, but it's also a hotbed of some truly unexplainable phenomena.
So let's start with something you can see with your own eyes, something that just doesn't make sense. If you look up at the temple's dome, you'll see a flag. Now, this flag has a very strange habit. It always, and I mean always, flies in the opposite direction of the wind. Now, people have tried to explain it away with theories about airflow and the temple's weird shape, but honestly, no one's ever come up with a real, solid scientific reason. It just does what it does.
And then it gets even stranger. That airspace right above the temple, it's basically a natural no-fly zone. You will never see birds circling over the dome, and it's said that even airplanes can't pass directly over it. It's almost like there's an invisible barrier, a force field protecting this sacred space from anything above.
But you know what? All these weird things happening on the outside, they're just the tip of the iceberg. The real mystery, the biggest secret of all, isn't outside for everyone to wonder about. Nope, it's locked away deep inside the temple's heart. And this is a secret so dangerous, so protected, that it's believed anyone who sees it won't live to tell the tale. And that brings us to the core of this whole thing, something called the Brahmapadartha. Now, this isn't just some old relic or a symbol. Devotees believe it is the actual living heart of the god Krishna, a divine substance that's supposedly been pulsing with otherworldly energy for thousands of years.
Let me be really clear here. The story goes that over 5,000 years ago, when Lord Krishna's body was cremated, his heart remained completely untouched by the fire, just intact. Followers say it's not just an object, it gives off a constant energy, a palpable vibration that makes it feel, well, alive. The secrecy around this thing is absolutely insane. Every 12 years, they perform a ritual called Namakalavara. For this to happen, the entire city of Puri has its power cut, complete blackout. A single priest, from a family line that's been doing this for centuries, is chosen for the task. He's blindfolded and his hands are wrapped in layers of thick cloth. He's the one who transfers the object into a new wooden idol. And the warning is crystal clear. If you see it, if you touch it, you will either die instantly or go completely mad.
So, has anyone actually seen it and survived? Officially, no. But a really rare account surfaced decades ago from someone who claimed they got a glimpse, and their description is just mind-blowing. They said it wasn't solid, but felt like liquid silver. It was glowing, vibrating, and when light hit it, it started spinning like a wheel. I mean, that description takes this from a simple myth and turns it into something tangible and, frankly, a little terrifying.
Now, all of this brings us to another one of the temple's big puzzles, the idols themselves. Have you seen them? They look so unique, so abstract, completely different from other deities in India. Well, there's a reason for that, and the answer is tied directly to the Brahmapadartha in a 5,000-year-old story about a divine promise and a broken one.
So the heart's journey is an epic in itself. After it survives the funeral fire, Krishna's disciple, Arjun, casts it into a river. Ages later, it washes up on the coast of what is now Odisha. A local tribal chief finds it and secretly worships it. Eventually, a great king named Indradumna hears whispers of this powerful object and decides he has to build a magnificent temple to house it.
Now, to make the idols for this grand temple, the divine architect himself, Lord Vishwakarma, shows up disguised as an old man. He strikes a deal with the king. He says, "I will carve the idols in just 21 days. But you have to promise me one thing. I must be left completely alone. Nobody opens the door to my workshop until I'm done."
But you know how these stories go. After 15 days, all the sounds of carving and hammering from inside the workshop just stop. The queen panics, thinking the old man must have died. She begs the king to open the door. He gives in, they unseal the room, and what do they find? The old craftsman is gone. Vanished. And in this place are 3 stunning but very obviously incomplete idols. No hands, no feet. And those are the exact same forms that are worshipped in the temple to this very day.
Okay, so the story's already pretty wild, but now we're going to take a sharp turn from ancient history right into our own lifetime. This is where we get into the prophecies. There's a 500-year-old manuscript called the Bhavishamalika, and believers say it has been predicting major world events for centuries, all linked back to this temple. This is where it gets seriously spooky. The text apparently said, "A great disease will come, people will be confined to their homes." I mean, come on, that sounds a lot like the COVID-19 pandemic, right? But wait, there's more. It also supposedly foretold the temple's flag catching fire, the giant metal wheel on the dome getting bent by a cyclone, and even that birds, which never fly over the temple, would finally land on it. All of that happened between 2019 and 2020. Of course, skeptics will say it's just people finding patterns where there are none, but for believers, the timing is just way too perfect to be a coincidence.
And it's not just recent stuff. People who study this text point to other passages that they say clearly predicted the Mughal invasion of the temple way back in 1558. And centuries after that, the arrival of the British, who the text apparently calls the White Rulers. It's this so-called historical track record that makes people take its predictions about the future very, very seriously.
Okay, so we've got the history, we've got the prophecies, but beyond all that, the temple itself seems to host daily miracles that just spit in the face of science. Let's just do a quick lightning round of some of the most famous phenomena that nobody can logically explain.
Let's start with the temple kitchen. It's enormous. They cook food in 7 clay pots, stacked one right on top of the other, over a wood fire. Now, basic physics tells us the pot on the bottom, closest to the fire, should cook first, right? Well, not here. In this kitchen, the food in the pot at the very top cooks first, then the one below it, and so on, all the way down. It completely reverses the laws of thermodynamics.
And the weirdness just keeps coming. The amount of food they cook every day is somehow always just enough. It doesn't matter if 500 people show up or 200,000, nothing is ever wasted and no one ever goes hungry. That huge middle disc on top of the dome, it seems to turn and face you no matter where you're standing in the city. And maybe the most bizarre one, you can hear the ocean roaring right outside the main gate. But the second you take one step inside, complete silence. The sound of the waves just vanishes. It's a series of little everyday miracles.
Even just walking into the temple has its own mystery. There are 22 stairs to get inside, but there's a strict rule. You are forbidden to step on the third one. It's called the Yamashila, which means the step of the god of death. The belief is that if you step on it, all the good deeds and spiritual merit you've ever earned in your life are instantly wiped out.
So, what do you do with all of this? Is the Jagannath temple just a collection of incredible coincidences, some clever ancient illusions, and stories passed down through generations? Or is it possible that this is a place where the rules of our reality just don't apply? A place where something divine is actively, tangibly shaping the world around it? That's the one question science hasn't answered, and it remains the ultimate unsolved mystery of this incredible place.